welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton. And today we're going to talk to one of our City Council members, give you a chance to get to know him better and to know what his important issues are. Welcome to Billy Hobbs. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for inviting me.
Now, I talked to you when you were first on City Council a few years ago.
Yeah, a few years ago, yeah.
You've been around for a while now.
Been around this is my second term, well into my second term. So coming to the end of the second term.
So does that mean you enjoy it?
Yes.
That's good.
In a weird way.
I was going to say you hesitated a little bit. What does that mean?
Well, I don't enjoy a lot of the maneuvering we have to do in some of our meetings and some of the things that, the way we get to the end result, it takes a little bit more time with the city than it does in my regular job. I can make a decision pretty quickly in my regular job and we get things going quick and we do a little hallway meeting and decide what's the best to do and we move ahead with it quickly.
Yeah, that was a bit of a surprise to me because I came from private industry too and worked for, the newspaper for 30 years and I get to the city and it's just completely different, and a lot of those policies are there for very good reason. The purchasing, you can't just go buy something from somebody because they, them or they always or whatever. You have to do that open process and it's all very fair, but it's slow.
Well, we check and we double check and we verify. And I get it because we're spending citizens' money, and that's our money. You and I pay taxes too.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure we're making the right move when we make the move, and it just takes a while to get to that end result. But it's great because you get to help people. You get to see some pretty neat things. We've had some really cool things happening in Hampton in the last 6 or 7 years, but those wheels were set in motion, a lot of them, before I got there.
Well, let's just stop and talk about your background for a minute. I mean, I think running for anyone who runs for office, I admire them for going through that because it has become, a really difficult process. And a lot of people see you as a politician instead of a leader who wants to help his city. So tell me, a little bit about your background. You talk about it pretty freely. You were not raised in a mansion.
No. I was in the projects, and we didn't know we were poor till we got to high school. And that's when we found out that we weren't doing so well financially. But I never missed a meal. I never went without clean clothes. I walked to high school a lot. We had a deal. We were talking, there were 6 of us. My sister and I were left at home. I was the youngest of 6. She was just 2 years older than me. And rainy days, if we had a bus token, she could ride the bus. But us boys were tough. We would just hoof it all the way to high school.
Wow.
Wasn't that bad?
Well, though, you were used to having to work.
Right. Well, I started
working. And in high school, you were a model child.
Yeah, right. Thank you for that. That's I was a pain in the butt. It's I used to I told a story at my sister's funeral. I was behind her in the main hall one day changing classes, and I was like in the 10th grade. She was a senior. And my sister Linda was a little bit large girl. And back then the girls would wear these shifts or something, straight dress. And this is terrible. But as she was walking down the hallway, the elastic in her underwear snapped. Well, her underwear fell off and I was right behind her. She was walking with a couple of her girlfriends. Well, Linda was smart, a lot smarter than I was. She quickly stepped out of them and kicked them to the side and kept going. Well, me being an idiot, I just reached down, picked them up, and I said, Linda, aren't these yours? Well, she's a sweet little girl, a good little Christian girl, turned around and hit me in the chest as hard as she could with her fist and knocked me on my butt. And everybody was laughing, but not at Linda. They were laughing at me. And it took about a month to live that down. So I was not the nicest kid. I was a brat. You
were always a jokester, would be my guess. But there was a time where you maybe needed a mentor, some involvement to help keep you on the right path.
I had some very good involvement. We were talking about Coach Kahn, Newport News High School. I don't know why he took a liking to me, because I was always getting chewed out by him, and he would let you know he was displeased with you physically. And Mr. Gazee, the dean of boys at Newport News High School. I spent a lot of time in Mr. Kazie's office, and I couldn't get around him either. He got a hold of me. And I had a fella at C.K. Hutchins at Hutchins Chevrolet took a liking to me, and he introduced me to his general manager, Stanley Wilson, who really took an interest in me and made me toe the mark. Every time I got a little bit out of the circle, he would knock me right back into it, and he stayed after me. And I was very fortunate that those guys were, in my early years, my teenage years, they were there for me and looked out for me. And then later in life, when I got to be in my 20s, I started going to church because I met Debbie, and I found out that she wouldn't go out with me on Wednesday night or Sunday night. And I finally asked her, I said, what is going on with you with all these nights we can't go out? And she says, if you want to see me, you got to go to church with me. And I was raised in the church, so I knew about it, and got me back in church. And met a bunch of great guys there, and they helped me settle down a little bit and find out what was important in life. And they stayed after me.
So how did that shape you in terms of your public service? Because I get the feeling that those were really key things in your upbringing.
Those were good things because it instilled in me the desire to help other people. Because I was lucky, people helped me because I was not heading down a good path. I thought I was the smartest, most clever guy in the world. I could drive faster and better than anybody else. I could fix anything I thought. And they kind of slowed me down a little bit. And they taught me that it's not about always getting something for yourself. The real reward in life is helping somebody else. And they did that for me. And they kept me engaged and going. And it kind of slowed me down quite a bit. I was a bit of a handful.
So that was part of one of the big influences, though, that made you get into public service
Right.
and want to be on city council.
Well, I did a lot of things in church and did a lot of things in the community. I started umpiring at a young age. I love baseball. And I was not a great ball player, but I was always on the team, and I think I was there for comedy relief. And I started umpiring and then started coaching. And at 20 years old, I started helping a fellow by the name of Court Fuller. And he loved the game of baseball, and he loved young people coming in, and he would work with the ones that really applied themselves. And he showed me that was a good feeling when you see a young man do well. And I enjoyed that. I like seeing kids be successful, and when they won a game or even when they lost a game. Sometimes they learned more about losing a game because they learned what it was about to be a good sport. And you fold that up, put it in your pocket, and you grow from that. And you get better. You make yourself get better.
Interesting. So you went on to a big career in the auto industry. You've worked at pretty much, I'd say, almost every dealership around.
Yeah, quite a few, unfortunately. That's kind of the trend in our business is to get ahead. You would do really good at one dealership, but to get ahead, you would have to leave and go to another dealership to advance. And I've been very happy in the automobile dealership world, and it's been very good to me. It's the kind of business that if you work hard and keep your nose clean, you can be successful. But there again, too, you get to help people.
Yeah.
People come to me all the time, and I'm in fixed operations now. I do service and parts, and people come to me with out of warranty conditions, and I don't like to say no. I like to find a way to get it done. And it's like when you're selling a car, somebody will come in and want something and say, well, I can't do that, but I can do this. So I'm able to help people, and I help a lot of our friends. They get these terrible situations. When you come in and somebody says, you're going to spend $3,000 or $4,000, it scares you to death. I know it hits my budget. And we were just talking about car repairs. I spend a lot of money on car repairs too. So I try to find the most efficient way to do it and the cost efficient way. And I try to help people with that, and I still make a living doing it.
Well, now that sounds like another skill that you bring to the council. You can't always give everybody everything they want, but sometimes you can find a way to help. Is that a fair assessment?
That's a very fair assessment. I think the best deal is when everybody gets a little bit of what they want. I never get everything. It's, like I'm the king of my castle, but that's because my wife lets me think I'm the king. So she gets what she wants, I get what I want. I like those deals where you help everybody. And with the city council, there's so many needs and wants, and there's so many good things we do for this community. And if you look where we've come from, we've got hotels coming out of the ground now. We've got the Boo Williams Sportsplex. We've got Langley Speedway up and going.
You were instrumental in that deal, I do believe.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. It's I was out there Saturday night.
You were involved.
I was involved. We would have meetings in my office, and I've probably told you this before. I test people. If they want to meet with me, I don't try to do anything during working hours. So if they want to meet me at my office at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'll meet with them and bring breakfast. And if they want to come by after 6 o'clock at night, I'll meet with them and talk to them all night long. Well, we had a lot of 6 a.m. meetings where we had Bill Hamner from Hamner Development, Conway Shields from the law firm Jones Blackwood Wilson Kelly, and Bill Mullis, who owns Langley Speedway now. We would all sit there and hash out these agreements. Robin, we did that for over 2 years.
That was a long time.
Hardest
My
deal
gosh.
I've ever been involved in. But the joy is when you stand down there on Saturday night and you look up in the stands and you see all those crazy redneck people having a great time. That's middle America right there. And they make it affordable so a family can go out there, and a family of 5 or 6, they can spend $50, $60, have something to eat, and go to the races, have a great time, just like the Peninsula Pilots.
I love the pilot.
I was with Henry Morgan and Hank Morgan yesterday morning. Stopped by to see how they were doing with the renovations on the ball field.
That's exciting.
And I went out there, we were talking. I went out there when I was a kid with my 2 older brothers. They were both baseball players. And my wife, Debbie, she was out there when Johnny Bench played. And she has a baseball autograph by Johnny Bench. And
See, I saw him at the Reds games.
ooh, you know, Howie Bedell, who was with the Reds for a while, and he used to come out there. And that's just a perfect place. It's just a jewel.
Well, so let's talk about you're obviously talking about quality of life issues and having things that young people and families can do that are affordable. That's an important issue for you.
That's
and
very
something
important.
that you've worked on.
I remember whenever we had a young family, and there were very few things we could afford to do, but we could go to the ball game, we could go to Langley Speedway, and that's where my children grew up, doing things like that that were affordable, but they were good, wholesome things.
Well, so what are your other issues in addition to that? What are your big focuses in City Council?
I really want to see the business community. They've come a long way in the last 6 years. They are, I think, on the verge of greatness right now. I would like to see us, I love sales tax dollars because those tax dollars don't come out of our pocket. It's sales
Some of them
tax.
do. My share does, but not all of it.
Yeah,
you know?
not all of it.
People who can afford to shop pay more. It's a very equitable.
It's
and
a
some
fair
of them
deal.
come from our tourists and our neighbors.
When we come here, I love it on a Friday or Saturday night when you come to Coliseum Central and you try to get into a restaurant and you see all these ball players eating dinner with their families. And we traveled, our son raced bicycles for a while, and we traveled like that. And those are good dollars where it doesn't hit our citizens hard.
Right.
But we use that money to form the quality of life issues and bring those to the citizens. It works.
So that tourism, business, retail sales, I know you came in as a businessman with a lot of those contacts and looking at that. Is there another issue you want to mention?
Well, you know, the main thing right now is just easing the burden on the city, on the citizens. We've done some really good quality of life issues. Our business community is flourishing. I think we're improving our roads. We're trying to improve our housing stock. That's very important. I live in the north end of the city, way up north. I'm a sneeze away from York County. But I love what we've got going on now because I think we're getting better. I think our quality of life is better. I believe in our police department, our fire department, and our school system. look at the academy system in Hampton now. My daughter was in it for 1 year at Bethel High School. She was in public service and law enforcement.
Good for her.
And it spurred her on to go to our very first teen police academy this summer. And they worked her pretty hard, but they helped her a lot too. She learned some self-defense tactics. She learned what it was to make a stop, a traffic stop, what it was like when you had to put a suspect in handcuffs. And she got a new appreciation for the police department. And she's been around the fire department some. She got to go to a burn building one night, and she got to see our young firemen, men and women out there going into a fire. And if you've ever been in a fire, when you're wearing all that gear that our firemen are wearing, and you go into a burning building, Robin, it's hot.
I can't imagine.
It's tough to see. They communicate very well. We have some amazing men and women in our police department and our fire service, and I want to make that better for our citizens too. Our teachers, I have the opportunity, my daughter-in-law is a teacher in Hampton, and a lot of her friends, and all of the grandchildren and my child, they swim, so we're around a lot of teachers during the summer. And during the school, and we do birthday parties at our house, and I always get to sit down with our teachers and hear what they're going through. And there again, I've got a love for teachers because Coach Kahn got me in the car business with C.K. Hutchins, and teachers are just, they're good people. It's, Ralph Saunders at Bethel High School, I was going to take my daughter to a private school or move her around. And,
oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Met with Ralph Saunders, and he said, Mr. Hobbs, if you're such a polite, respectful man, he says, if you give me your daughter, I promise you she will get a good education and she will enjoy her high school career. And that little girl got everything there was there out of it.
She did. She loved it.
She's gone on to college now, as you know. And
not just loved it. She's a very self-possessed, smart young woman.
Thank you.
It's well-rounded. She's not just bookish, but she had the full experience, sports, everything, and she's very grown up.
Well, she's had the opportunity to be around people like you, and we've been out at events and stuff, and she loves our friends. She loves her friends, but Bethel High School, I got to give them that, the school system.
They do a great job.
Yeah, I love what they're doing. And I'm going to tell you, and you know this, you've been involved, the academy system is going to surprise a lot of people in the citizens of Hampton.
I think they don't understand it yet. And when they do, it will all click.
Right.
Yeah.
And I love sharing that with our citizens, where we've been there and we see what they're doing and we see the hard work. We were kidding around yesterday at City Council. We started talking about the firemen and how they eat. And I mentioned about the different fire stations I've eaten at.
You did the eating tour of the city. I know you do.
They eat good. I took Eleanor Brown with me. And we hit 2 fire stations in one night, and we ate at both of them. It was good food, good people, doing a great job.
So part of what you get out of it really is the citizen contact and the staff contact and knowing people and enjoying people.
I love putting people together too. When so many meetings we have where Ross Carney told me when I got elected, and he was coming off of council, and Ross did, I believe, 20 years, and he said, you know what toes not to step on, and he says, you're not the smartest guy in the world, but he says, you know people. Make sure they don't forget the people.
That might be your biggest skill. I hadn't thought of it that way. Well, now we just have a couple minutes left, but let me let you look in your crystal ball and tell me what Hampton looks like in 5 years or 25 years.
I think in the next 5 years, they are going to see wonderful economic growth in the city of Hampton. They are going to see a quality of life that we have not enjoyed in a very long time. I think we're going to go a little old school and we've come together very well, especially in crisis. I believe that that's going to happen. I believe in 25 years, when I might stop working, I think that what we're doing on Mercury Boulevard and all the other neighborhoods is great. I think that we are going to be the place to live. I think we're right there. We're about a quarter inch away from greatness. We are being talked about all over the country. Our school system is being talked about in a positive way, and I love that. I think we've got a great school superintendent. I think we're getting better and better and better, and I don't know if I'll be around in 25 years, but I believe that Hampton is going to grow and be prosperous and just be a better place to live than it's ever been before.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course. And thank you for watching. I hope you know a little bit more about where Councilman Hobbs is coming from, what his interests are, and understand what he does for you as a citizen on City Council. Thank you so much for watching.